Hello. If you're a binge eater, overeater, stress eater, emotional eater, or you just can't stop thinking about food, then you're going to want to watch this video because I'm going to explain to you how I overcame my own binge eating and weight issue just through being kind. I didn't diet or join a slimming club. I didn't deprive myself of anything or start some kind of hideous exercise regime. I literally transformed myself and my life using the power of kindness, which probably sounds really woo-woo and a bit crackers, but honestly, bear with me on this because you are going to see a whole other side to your food issue. And once you've watched this video through, it is going to make so much sense to you and create so many light bulb moments. So it feels a bit like story time, so settle in as I tell you about my story, because I think it would be good for you to get an understanding of where I was when I first started this. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I healed my food issues through kindness. Okay, so you might just be looking at me and thinking, yeah, all right, you've got nothing to worry about. You look fine. I bet you've never shoved 12 donuts down your face in one go, or worried about what you can fit into from your wardrobe. Well, you would be wrong. I literally had the cake shop on speed dial at one point in my life. I spent years, decades battling not just with food, but also with my weight, with how I thought I looked, with confidence, with low self-esteem. I was really quiet as a child. I grew up with really low confidence, and that just got worse and worse as I got older. I didn't have anyone to talk these things through with, so food became my way of shutting everything out. I started binging from the age of about 13. I used to come home from school and I remember mixing butter and icing sugar together to create butter icing and eating that. I mean, it's disgusting now when I think about it, but that's what I used to do. I was one of 5 kids and my parents used to buy the younger siblings sweets and chocolates and things, but I wasn't allowed them. My dad used to hide them away, so I'd make up this buttercream to satisfy those needs because I was deprived. And then when I got my first job at the age of 13 and my first pay packet, I bought a ton of chocolate. And this binging, it just got worse and worse and worse. And as the years went on, the weight crept on and I got bigger and bigger and bigger. So then I started with the diets and the slimming clubs, and I would restrict for a bit and tell myself, right, this is it. I'm going to eat salads for the rest of my life. And of course that only lasted for a short time, sometimes even only hours, because I was addicted to the sugar. I was addicted to that instant hit of food. It made me feel good in those moments. It was comforting, right? Food is comforting when we hate ourselves. Is this resonating with any of you? Please type in the comments if it is. There are so many people who've got an issue with food. Let's be more open about this. So please do write in the comments if this is how you're feeling right now, or if you've ever felt any of this. So anyway, getting back to the story, this whole binge restrict cycle, it went on and on and on. I didn't have parents that I could talk to about this. They just told me I was getting fat and to just stop eating. And yeah, right. How has that worked out for every single person who's gained weight? It's not like we don't know what to do. I knew I needed to eat less, but I just couldn't do it because I didn't have any kind of support system to help me work out why I was overeating, much less even how to stop it. The only thing I had to work with was what society was telling me, that diets were the answer, slimming clubs were the answer, that my body shape wasn't good enough, that I wasn't good enough, essentially. And so there was this constant pain in my mind, in my head, and unsurprisingly, my binge eating got worse. I went up 4 dress sizes and it felt like this never-ending cycle of guilt, frustration, self-blame. No matter how hard I tried to control my eating habits through diets, it seemed like I was always one stressful moment away from another binge. I went to loads of counselling, psychotherapy, these so-called experts, hoping that might help me. But to be honest, I just came out of those sessions feeling even worse than I did before, not realising at the time that the mind can't tell the difference between past and present. So the whole time I was going over all the bad things that had happened to me, I was just reinforcing everything that I thought and felt about myself, that I wasn't good enough, I was ugly, I was stupid, I didn't matter. And unsurprisingly, I used food to feel better. I just felt like I was in this never-ending battle with myself and with food and with my weight, and that it would be something that I just have to struggle with for the rest of my life. Now, I know that this is a story for so many people, but we can be afraid to talk about it because there's a stigma with overeating. People who don't have a food issue, they think it's just easy to stop eating, but it really isn't. It's an addiction, just like drugs or alcohol. It really is an addiction. And like all addictions, it needs a much better approach than starving yourself on the cabbage soup diet or some other horrific thing that an almost $300 billion industry tells us is the next best diet. That is just a story that we've been told for companies to make more money. We buy into this idea that a diet is how to fix the problem, but it goes so much deeper than that. And by the way, if this is sounding like you and this is helping, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons, not just so I can help you even more with more content, but also to help raise awareness of this really important issue that has such a stigma attached to it. So anyway, as I was saying, the problem goes deeper. It's the self-loathing that drives the problem. It's the ideas that we've conjured up for ourselves that we're a bad person because we're overeating and we're not thin enough that makes the problem worse. It's our lack of healthy boundaries because we're trying to prove that we're good enough, which leads to this passive aggressiveness and resentment in our minds that makes us want to eat food to feel better. Food takes away the pain of the chaos in our minds. A chaotic mind will always equal chaotic eating, but that chaos, it can be calmed simply by being kind to ourselves. And you know what? Kindness towards myself really was the game changer in my journey to beat binge eating. I started to change the narratives that I'd lived with for so long. You know, I'm weak, I can't change, this is me forever, I deserve to be overweight, I'm a terrible person. When I stopped those stories of pure pain, my mind wasn't then looking for comfort to soothe me. When I looked back at my past and myself with compassion rather than hate, I was able to deal and cope with the emotions that came up rather than using food to push them away. When I stopped comparing myself to others and accepted myself for who I am, I became a whole lot happier. And when you're in that better place, guess what? You don't need food to feel better. Having a happy, healthy life really just does boil down to what you think in your mind. It sounds so simplistic, I know, but it really is true. When you stop with the self-hatred and you change the bullshit stories you have about yourself and about your world, your relationship with food changes. You don't need to diet or count sins or calories. Your mind stops wanting all of the crap, so then your body starts to make the decisions. We buy into certain bullshit stories that we've got to look a certain way, be a certain way. I'll be happy when I've lost weight. How many times have you said that? Your self-worth and value is not determined by what you weigh. I'm going to say that again. Your self-worth and value is not determined by what you weigh. You have to be good and okay and happy with yourself right now, and then the weight naturally follows. But I guess I make it sound super simple, and I know it's not. However, if I can do it, anyone can. Believe me, I was probably one of the worst cases I've ever seen. I work with clients all of the time on this, and if I'd have been a client of mine then, I'd definitely be one of the worst cases of past trauma, self-loathing, and disgust with myself. So if I can change, I believe that anyone can, and I see it all the time with my clients. Everything comes from within, so we have to change what's inside in order to have a different outcome. As I always say, you know, and you've heard me say this before, if you've watched my videos, you can't diet out your thinking. You've got to change what goes on inside your mind instead. So here I am today, story time, sharing this story with you, not just as an expert, but as someone who has been through it. If you're struggling with binge eating, I really want you to know that there is hope. The most powerful tool for healing is often the simplest one, being kind to yourself. And that kindness, of course, it comes in lots of different ways. And the first step is recognizing it. The second step is signing up to my free masterclass, The 5 Shifts to End Emotional Eating Forever. Just click the link in my bio for access. And this is really going to help you start to turn around your thinking when it comes to overcoming your food issue. You don't need to do any more diets or deprive yourself or spend hours in the gym. You really can change from the seat of your sofa if you want. So be kind to yourself and click on that link to start your journey to food freedom. And thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for having the courage to listen to my story. And you know, if you put any comments in the comments box, thank you for that as well. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of my stuff. Remember, you are not alone and you've got this. You really have. Until next time, take care.